Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're back in the building once again. The Big Free Show. Finally, all three of us are back in the building again. Chino, you are back
Yes.
out of the G League, you know. It's crazy right
Chill out, bro.
now. I big up to everybody in this that's gonna come in here over the course of the show. We got a lot to talk about. NBA playoffs are in full effect. Man, like CM in the building. What you saying, my bro?
Yes, everybody, man. Excuse me, I'll be back on cam next week. I've got I've got something big moving into my room, so it's all over the place. But we move in it. I'm back on cam, but big up to everybody. Large ups to Chino, Roland, everybody in the comments. We're here, man. A few playoff series is wrapped up now. We're still waiting for the conclusion of others. Big talking points as well coming out of those playoff series. We're looking at Giannis and Antetokounmpo in the Milwaukee Bucks. It's a tough one still. We've got a Miami fan ready to speak some harsh truths. You know what I mean? But we move, man. We move. We're here.
Hey, big up to Chino as well, man. As I said, man, he's back out of the G League, you know. He's doing his thing, but he's back with us. Big free show. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button as well if you hit the notification bell, all that good stuff right there. We're gonna get into this right now. And let's talk about some regular season awards that have been handed out to some of the players across the league.
Okay.
We're gonna kick it off with let's talk about sixth man of the year. Payton Pritchard beating out Malik Beasley and I believe Ty Jerome.
Of course, you want to start there.
We'll start there. We'll start there.
Biased, bro.
I mean, look, for me, Payton Pritchard, he had to be the sixth man of the year, man. If you look at what he can do, production off the bench for the Celtics team, like I think he hit 240 plus threes or something off the bench. Like that is big in terms of impact, right? Off of the bench. And like you're putting it into a team that won 61 games this year, you know, and he's a dog, man. Like on both ends of the floor, he doesn't hide. Like people think that you can attack him. I thought a few years ago he was one of the weaknesses, maybe coming off the bench as one of the players. You know, then he had the year when John Mazzulla first came in his first year, and then he didn't have a lot of playing time, and he's had to really figure out his role in this Celtics team. He asked for a trade, like even a couple of seasons ago, and they told him no. You got a role here. You just wait it out and you'll be fine. And he's been able to come in and into this year and really showcase what his skill set is really about. He's not just a guy that just can just come off the bench and shoot threes. He's someone that also defensively, you know, he can hang with the best of them at times. I've seen it in this playoff series against Orlando. I've seen him on times on Paolo Banchero. That's the team's best player, right? And he's defending him like straight up, like so. For me, he was a deserved sixth man of the year. But shout out to Malik Beasley and Ty Jerome. They had really good seasons as well for both of their teams, respectively. So, I mean, that's all I got to say on Payton Pritchard, man. I know what he brings to the table. So, you know, from watching him all these years. What are you, man, saying on Payton Pritchard, man?
You know what? There's a level of confidence that comes with winning. There's a level of trust that comes with patience. And for Payton Pritchard, everything that you said over the course of his tenure as a Boston player, that patience, that poise, that determination to stick with it, even in moments where he wasn't a prominent figure in that lineup. He stuck with it. He continued to work, and you know he enjoyed a really good regular season this year. Boston through to the next round, waiting for the winner of Knicks Pistons, and he'll continue to be a crucial part of that rotation. Sixth man of the year, well deserved, and that's all I gotta say about that. But like winning, it soothes your soul, even in times when you're becoming impatient. But if you do have that persistence, if you have that drive, if you have that that extra little bit of patience needed as well to mix into that recipe, then once your opportunity comes, you'll be ready to take it. And he's one of those guys that you look at around the league and say, yeah, he's well deserved of this award because of all of the things that he has waited for in terms of opportunity.
It's true. It's true. Hey, Chino, you there? No, he ain't there. Fam.
I'm here.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on Payton Pritchard, bro?
I have none.
Nah, you gotta speak, bro. You gotta speak, bro.
I am speaking. I have none.
Let me know.
I haven't watched Pritchard since we played our last series against each other. Like I have none. I haven't watched much basketball, bro.
Hey, we're gonna come to you in a minute, bro. Look, trust me. All right, clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson.
But to be honest, though, on the Celtics, I'll definitely say since he's been drafted, his growth has definitely been like he didn't come in as the only thing against him was his height. Like people use his height. But he never let that stop him, you know what I'm saying? Like every year he adds something to his game from what I've noticed. Every year he adds something to his game and every year he gets better. And he got that dog in him. Like he's not gonna back down. He's gonna go out there, he's gonna compete. I mean, that's all I gotta say. I can't say much about like seeing him come off the bench this season because I haven't.
Yeah, no, but what you're saying is right, man. Because imagine like he's in college and he's the offense is running through him as the point guard. He comes into the league and that's not the same. And that's a hard adjustment to come by, right? Where you're the main man on your team when he's in college and then he comes into the league and that might not necessarily be your future. You just have to just be a star in a role that they give you. And he had to make that mental adjustment a few years ago. And now when you look at where he is right now, he's up there with one of the best, guys off the bench in the league. Like, so, it is what it is. Jalen Brunson, clutch player of the year. Some people were like, not too sure, like he's deserving of this. I want to know who was in the running.
Who won what?
So
Jalen Brunson got clutch player of the year. So who was in the top three, CM?
Nikola Jokic and Anthony Edwards.
See, look, this is what I'm saying. When his name was announced, people were like, they're not so sure. Like, and this is the interesting thing about it, right? So, if we're looking at that, what clutch means is meaning the last 5 minutes in the game, right? What I've watched this year of all three of them players, Nikola Jokic has been way more effective in the clutch moments than either of those two, and it's led to their Denver Nuggets winning more games. That's from what I've observed. I don't know if the stats back that up, right? But from what I've observed, he's been affected more of the games, right? Where for a small portion of the season, Jalen Brunson has been injured, so I don't know I don't know how that factors in, and like I know Ant has closed games out this year, right? But that's a contentious one for me. But it doesn't take away from the skill set of Jalen Brunson and what he can do on the court, how he leads that New York offense, the New York Knicks offense, and the fact that if you need a bucket from him late in a game, he's going to be the one that you got to go and get it. And we've seen that in this playoff run so far as well against the Detroit Pistons, where he's closed some games out himself, right? So I don't know, man. Like it's a tough choice, but we'll let him live. What's your man's thoughts on clutch player of the year, Jalen Brunson?
I mean, look, for the New York Knicks, and you bring up some valid points, Roland. Still, Nikola Jokic had another exceptional season. I believe he averages triple-double. Like, just another exceptional year in Denver. Arguably another MVP caliber season. And we'll find that out in due time.
Hold on, CM, hold on. Where is the Philadelphia 76ers? Where did they finish? Did they even make the play-ins?
Talk.
Did the Philadelphia bum Sixers made the play-ins? They weren't even in the play-ins. how are you gonna come here and talk about a team that got an extra 6 games while your team was at home? While your franchise player knees are falling off the bone. Like it's been smoked. Like your franchise player got smoked turkey legs, bro. You take it out the foil paper and it's just falling off the bones, bro. What are you
Wait,
talking about, bro?
are you
Like
saying oxtail settings
you
here?
in here, you in here talking about people getting sweat, bro. You need to worry about what Bushman you're gonna take your franchise player to go see, bro. That's what you need to worry about. Worry about trying to rebuild Embiid cartilage in his knees, bro.
He needs to go see
You,
Kawhi's doctor, fam. I'm telling
yeah,
you, Kawhi look
bro.
different.
Yeah, he's worrying about the wrong thing. You need to worry about that big flabby flapper, bro. All he does is flop and get to the free throw line, bro. Score 50 points and 40 of the points is from the free throw line. Like that's what you need to worry about, bro. Stop worrying about people getting sweat, bro. Miami shouldn't even been in the playoff. Miami shouldn't have been in the playoff. So you coming in here, just enjoy the show, bro. All three of us right here, our teams made it to the playoff, bro. I mean, my team might be home for one. I didn't want them to be in the playoff, but don't come in here and make no comments, bro. Just watch the show from the couch like the Sixers is doing to the playoff and just enjoy the show, bro. Like just keep your mouth shut, bro. All right, CM, go ahead, bro. Finish, bro.
Big up, man. Nah, look, what's it called? Yeah, I was saying Nikola Jokic, arguably another MVP caliber season, and we know how impactful he is for the Denver Nuggets in terms of their win-loss ratio. Anthony Edwards, he's having a great playoff period, just knocked out the Lakers in the regular season. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I'd say an up and down season. So you'd understand why he's there, but not exactly up there in the rankings. Jalen Brunson, an important player for the New York Knicks. They themselves have had some teething problems at times, and part of that is due to injuries, rotational issues, questions over the coaching at times and the handling of their players, especially coming off last year's playoff campaign. So I don't know. When it comes to this award, I feel like it's a extremely subjective one. But you'd understand why Jalen Brunson is there. You understand Nikola Jokic if he won it. It's interesting because when you look at the first place votes, Brunson won it by far, 70 to 26, in favor of him. So a lot of the voters believed that he was the rightful winner.
Yeah. And Chino, what do you think about that award for Jalen Brunson? Do you think he deserved it over Jokic and Edwards?
I don't know. I don't watch no basketball, bro. I don't know, bro. Legend.
Allen Iverson's, we talking. but forget practice. He said we talking about basketball.
We talking about basketball.
We talking about basketball.
Basketball, man.
Oh nah. All right, defensive player of the year, Evan Mobley. He beats Draymond Green and Dyson Daniels to that award. For some people, was surprised. I mean, I was surprised to see Draymond Green kind of hoisted into that position where like there was a little run in the media, like they were bigging him up a little bit too much, right? Dyson Daniels being there, I think they were only doing that based off of the amount of steals he made this year, because when you look at the statistics, he actually was, when he was off the court, they were better defensively, the Atlanta Hawks, which is actually like kind of crazy when you think about it, right? But yeah, for the amount of steals that he was getting, like I think he averaged about 6 steals a game or something across the season. Dyson Daniels, he didn't actually help the team actually be a lot better defensively. Whereas Evan Mobley, I think it's quite interesting, right? Because this year he's actually taken a bigger leap in his offensive game, right? We never had any question marks against him defensively. This year, the contribution he's made on the offensive end for the Cleveland Cavaliers have given him his opportunity to showcase more of his defensive capabilities. And it's interesting because their defense is kind of watertight. They don't really get scored on like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's kind of interesting how they've kind of put these together. Because if I'm thinking to myself who the defensive player of the year before all of this started, like before all the voting started and all of this year, just based on what I've watched this year, like I'm trying to think like, who was like a solid candidate for defensive player of the year. Like Daniels and the steals aside, I'm trying to think. It's gonna be like a Mobley. Who else, man? That was good this year. Who was good?
I mean, you could speak about was it Amen Thompson in Houston?
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Zubac in for the Clippers. He kind of had one of his better years.
Zubac was good. Like, I mean, offensively, like he was really good this year. Like, I'm just trying to think who else was like good, like a defensive player. But you named some good ones there. Because I think with Zubac, he's most improved. I think for me, but they didn't give it to him. They gave it to Dyson Daniels, right? Which another contentious one. I feel like because he missed out on the defensive player of the year, they had to give him something type of thing. Do you know what I'm saying? To reward him for what he did this year.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, man.
And I'm just saying because if Jalen Johnson didn't get injured, he would have got the most improved player, and he's his teammate. I think so. Like because he was having a good year up until I think he had a shoulder injury or something like that. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. If Evan Mobley getting the defensive player of the year, I don't know if I can say there were better defensive players than him this year. I don't know. Like it's a hard one to say. At the same time, you're rewarding the team success too, right? Like
and the Cleveland Cavaliers an exceptional season. Evan Mobley, I think from the very beginning was one of those names that everybody looked at and said, if Cleveland are to have one of those type of years, he's going to be at the forefront of orchestrating and anchoring that defense. And like you said, it was a really good point. Offensively, the coaching staff, especially at the Cleveland Cavaliers, have put more responsibility on Evan Mobley to take responsibility for his offensive contributions in the past, and I'll give a lot of credit to Atkinson for that, because I feel like when we've spoken about the Cleveland Cavaliers, we always say Donovan Mitchell. We know what he can do in terms of scoring, but it needs to come from a Darius Garland. It needs to come from Evan Mobley. It needs to come from the supporting cast, a more well-balanced performance offensively to be a consistently threatening team to challenge to get out of the conference and make deep playoff runs. But I'd say congratulations to him. Dyson Daniels, the thing that you said regarding their defense being better when he was off the court is quite interesting, because there was a lot of noise from him early on with his ability to get steals, get within the passing lanes, intercept, and he showcased an extremely unique knack for doing that, to the point where his numbers for sure would have been inflated. But that doesn't always tell the entire story. And I think the Atlanta Hawks, with the way their season went, and I think that hurts his case to a certain extent. Whereas most improved player, you can kind of get away with being, on a team that's slowly moving into obscurity. But I feel like with awards like this, team success does give you the extra edge, and Evan Mobley most definitely has that. I did also agree with you on the Draymond Green thing. I don't know if it was the lack of candidates or the fact that Draymond Green is a household name, because the Golden State Warriors did not have an exceptionally good season. Jimmy Butler comes in, they have a little boost, and then they start going downhill again, and that reflects on their record even at the start of the campaign. So it has been an up and down a regular season for Golden State, and I don't necessarily think that Draymond Green was as deserving of the fanfare and the positioning in terms of DPOY that he was in. But that's just me. Exceptional player in his heyday, but I think that may have been blown out of proportions.
It just was weird, like the fact that like all of a sudden, like maybe 6 weeks ago, he was in the running for being defensive player of the year. And I was like, from where? Like I did like we watched the games, like like he's not impacting the game on the defensive end like that, like how he was in his heyday. Like it's not the same now, and it's like they were getting scored on a lot. To be honest, they're lucky about even the way that they lost in the final game of the season, the regular season against the Clippers. You saw what happened. Like you saw, we watched it live. Like so yeah. I mean, congrats to Evan Mobley. Is like you could argue that there wasn't really a large like amount of candidates that could have gotten this award. So he was going to be the outstanding choice out of the three of them. So it is what it is. Chino, you there? No, he's not there.
Mm-hmm.
You there? What do you think about Evan Mobley's defensive player of the year, man? Like, do you think he deserves it?
I don't know.
You know, bro. Stop this. You know, bro.
I don't know what you want to say, bro.
We talking about basketball?
No, bro. We talking about basketball, bro. Bro, we're talking about basketball. Like, not even football, bro. Not even the game that Man United just won, bro. One leg in the finals already, bro. We talking about basketball, bro.
We have to.
About basketball.
We have to be right now, fam.
All right, I'm not surprised. Like, Mobley is a very good defender, but then again, he got a damn good anchor behind him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got Jared Allen. It's like Giannis. It's like when Giannis win it, like the defensive players, like Giannis won it. I don't know, but when like Giannis,
he's won it.
Be in the conversation, it's like, bro, he got Brook Lopez.
Yeah.
And vice versa, like Brook Lopez have Giannis, like both they just clean up for each other. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna help boost your stat because the defensive stat is like this, right? If Mobley's guarding you one-on-one on the perimeter and you drive on Mobley, you kind of got him beat. But then like Jared Allen come across and affect the shot, but Mobley's still right in your hip. Jared Allen didn't touch the ball, but Mobley's still right in your hip. Like the stats people, they give it to like it's Mobley defensive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's his defensive stop. Like, but I mean, he's a good defender. I ain't gonna take nothing from the kid. I don't know. Draymond Green was saying he was supposed to win it. I don't know. Draymond might.
Can I ask you guys a question, yeah? With what Chino just said, and this might be a funny question, but Rudy Gobert has 4 defensive player of the years. 3 of them won as a Utah Jazz member, and not necessarily can I say that the supporting cast defensively in those 3 seasons were good enough in terms of kind of keeping up the consistency defensively as an overall team. Does that elevate his seasons of being a defensive player of the year?
See, that's an interesting one. I can't lie, because if you talk to Shaquille O'Neal, he'll tell you he's a bum.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But you can't be a 4-time. But then it's like, who were the people that he was up against across the categories? Do you know what I'm saying? Because in each of those wins, it's like right now we're clutching at straws to say who were the outstanding defenders in the league this year. And then if we go back to maybe 2 years ago when it was Triple J, we were saying, oh, how are they actually calculating this? Because is it the amount of blocks and steals that they make? Is it the overall game, how they affect shots? Like, how does it contribute to the team? Do you know what I'm saying? And the buckets that they're conceding? Like, because you could have made a case for Bam 2 years ago when Triple J won it, and Bam's numbers were a lot better when you consider him being on the floor and off the floor and how that impacts things, because we do the same for the MVP, right?
Yes.
So why can't we do the same for Defensive Player of the Year? And I feel like when you're speaking about Rudy Gobert, I think that they were looking at him like from a visual standpoint. This is a 7-foot guy who's making a bunch of blocks, like rebounding the ball at like high rates. So they're gonna look at those specific statistics and just be like, yeah, this is the guy. Whereas if you looked at what happened with Marcus Smart when he won the Defensive Player of the Year, he was doing everything. Like everything that he could do on the court, that's how they were looking at it. It's just like, I feel like year on year, they just look at it in so many different ways. And it'd be nice if we just had some clear explanations or clear criteria to say, this is how you become Defensive Player of the Year. Not this kind of scattergun thing where it's like year in, year out, we're looking at certain players and there's like attribute statistics and just kind of like muddling everything together before making a decision on who the top three are. Like
I feel like the slow embracing of this, term of basketball being positionless has opened up the possibilities for different profiles and different types of players to be considered for the Defensive Player of the Year award when it may have been rather rigid. Like, for example, the first year Gobert wins it, it's basically three centers that are at the top of voting. Him, AD, Joel Embiid. Yes, there's a Paul George, but then there's a Al Horford, there's a Draymond Green who plays small center from time to time in his career. So, slowly you speak of the Marcus Smarts, you speak of the Dyson Daniels who are slowly coming into the fray and so forth. There has been this shift in the way we consider awards, and I guess the way we look at certain players' impact on the game. And you make a very good point. Sometimes we look at the visual aspect and we say, oh my goodness, if this guy's popping up in highlights every other night, blocking a shot, getting a rebound, pushing the team on the fast break and making plays in that sense, then we're gonna see it more. It's gonna be in our mind more, and that player is gonna be in consideration more just because they're on the highlights every other night. They're being spoken about every other night. But sometimes guys go under the radar when it comes to their defensive impact and what they do on the floor and how that impacts winning, most importantly, which I feel like should still be the most important factor. If you are considered for an award across the league, and when realistically you're in it to win it every single season, you don't play there just for participation. You play to win games, unless you're tanking, or you should have been tanking like the Miami Heat. But that's a different story. That's a different story.
Why catch it straight, fam? That's crazy.
That's why your team about to lose the next round.
Hey, chill, boy, because we're flying right now.
Who they about to play?
Denver or the
Either
Clippers?
the Nuggets or Clippers.
Oh, yeah,
and we will deal with them. We'll deal with them. And when Minnesota come through against Houston, we will deal with them. The finals is calling. Boston! Boston! We're coming for you!
Yeah, he tripping.
That is hilarious. I'll say one more thing on this Defensive Player of the Year. And you make the good point. Winning should be the ultimate criteria. If you're on a team that is poised to win or win something, you should be some of the players within your team should be considered for some of these awards. So, like, when we talk about like a defender impacting the game, impacting other players, altering shots, I can't lie. Even the pros will say it. Drew Holiday is one of the best at it. He doesn't have a stuffed stat sheet. He doesn't he's not on the highlight reels every week in, week out. I watch all the games, or I watch as many games as I can. And when he's on the floor defensively, we go to another level. Like in these playoffs, he has a hamstring strain right now. Hopefully he gets back soon. But in the first couple of games against Orlando, the team's best player he was guarding was Paolo Banchero. But Paolo Banchero couldn't score on him. Every time he was on him, you see how he can impact that. And then all the pros say that he's the guy, that he should have had at least a couple of defensive player of the years. Unfortunately, team success will impact that, right? Even though the pros themselves know his presence on the court. I've seen it last year when they won the championship. That game 4 or game 3 in the Eastern Conference Finals, we stepped up another level, and it was because of his impact. Like, I saw it. Like, he's the one that helped set the tone defensively for a lot of the games, really. So it's interesting in terms of criteria. It'd be nice if they just had like a clear criteria that we could just measure everybody across the league on. And then you'll have some teams where you have some players where, because their team is successful, those players are good and they fit within that criteria. But you may have some others that, fall within the same criteria, but their team isn't as good. That would be interesting to see if we had that moving forward, not rather than it just being all over the place. Right. So most improved player was Dyson Daniels. My reservations on that one is clear because the 3 candidates for that was him, Zubac, and Cade Cunningham. How Cade Cunningham didn't win that, even though I understand the whole premise of you shouldn't give it to guys who were top 3 picks. Yeah. Like, I get it. But when you look at how bad the team was, and we already knew he was a good player, but then at the same time, it's like he had at least
Yo,
go on.
You know what I just realized?
What?
Killian Hayes was really holding back that team, Nah.
Don't start.
Bro, for real,
Don't
bro.
start.
Bro, nah, bro. He was really holding Cade back too, bro. Because then
Where is he now? Is he in Brooklyn?
In Brooklyn, bro. Killian Hayes ain't even in the league, bro. I think he in France or something, bro.
I swear he came back. I swear he came back. Like, I swear he's in Brooklyn.
Where you at right now, man?
Hayes.
Brooklyn Nets. Yeah, Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, he's the Nets. I'm telling you, he's like he's in the G League. He's in the G League with their G League affiliate team. He's with the Nets, bro. But yeah, I think it's a tough one for me because I mean Zubac's had a great year, like career year across the board. Like, you can see the improvement that he's had in his team. I feel like his teammates have a lot of confidence in him, and it's really impacting his game in a lot of ways. But when you look at what Detroit have done, how they've improved completely and transformed as a team, and Cade has been, leading that. He became an all-star for the first time this year. Like, I feel like you can bend the rules a little bit here because it's like, whereas, giving it most improved to like Tyrese Maxey at the time when Philly were top 3, top 4 in the East, like, and he was impacting, and you gave it to him even though he was a pretty high draft pick, like, and we already knew what he was going to be, like, because there wasn't really any dip in his game. With Cade Cunningham, he had the injury after the second year, I think it was, and he spent a lot of time out. You don't know if he's going to come back to being his best. And then his impact on the team this year as they transform their season with obviously new coach, and obviously don't know if that's going to go the way it needs to go. A lot of young players still finding their feet in the game. Veterans come in. They've already tried this once before, mind you, with bringing in some vets, and it didn't work. So you could kind of bend the rules there, but then at the same time for Dyson Daniels, it's like his explosion has come out of nowhere, like from if you're just watching it as a casual, right? Or if you don't watch a lot of Atlanta Hawks games. And then he was in New Orleans, and it was like he even said it himself. It's like it's cursed down there, like it's cursed because we're here, we're trying our best. Everybody's getting injured, and when he got the opportunity to go to Atlanta, he jumped at the chance, and then it became the season that it's become right now. So that's a tough one. I can't lie. Like, you could have given it to all 3 of those guys. To be fair. I can't lie, I would have led with Cade though, just because of the story behind him being where he's been to be successful this year, I guess. So I don't know what you guys thought.
Congratulations to Dyson Daniels. He definitely deserves to be in the running for it.
Who is that? Who is Dyson Daniels?
Don't stop.
You're talking about basketball.
Don't stop.
You know who is that?
You know who he is.
Who's this new school, man?
Yeah, bro. Who is that? No, who is that? See, I'm dead ass. Who's that?
Bro,
Hey, don't do this, man. Don't do this, bro.
Who is that? What
Don't
did he
do
play
this, bro.
hey,
Hey, you're playing games, bro. You're playing too many
for?
games.
No, who is Dyson Daniels,
Don't
bro?
worry, I'm gonna show you.
yeah.
Stop this, bro.
Is he good?
He's all right. He's all right.
Who drafted him? Like, where is he from?
He's Australian
Who he play for?
for the Hawks right now. Look, I'll show you. I'll show you.
Drafted by the Pels.
Drafted by the Pels.
This guy, man.
Hold on.
You ain't seen this guy before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you still don't know him, do you? You still don't know him, do you?
Yeah, okay, I know that. I know what that is.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Stop lying, fam.
I know who that is, bro.
You don't know who that is, fam. But yeah, he obviously he was in the first round, you know, he was the number 8th pick. Like, he's not like, you know, it's not no like he's there's a ceiling there. I don't know like where it's gonna be, but there's a ceiling there.
And he most definitely made a jump like away from his defensive game offensively as well. More of a responsibility on him offensively, and he's kind of gradually grown into that role. His first 2 seasons of the Pels, not exactly as involved as this season, where he jumps from taking 5 shots a game to 12, 6 points per game to 14, as well as the 3 steals. He's a lot more involved in the offensive side of things, and that is where I feel like he gets the edge as well when it comes to most improved player. Cade Cunningham, the thing I appreciate about him is when we look at last season, he was poised. Even amidst their losing streak, he remained calm. There must have been an element of impatience, I feel like, because of the losing. But in terms of what we were able to see, he remained poised, he remained concentrated, he remained calculated, and even this season when there was such a grand turnaround, he's the same guy on the court, off the court. He's the same guy, and an elite competitor, which embodies what this Detroit Pistons team is doing, even in the NBA playoffs right now against the New York Knicks, literally. So I can appreciate him being up there as one of the main candidates, and I feel like he would have been deserving of it too.
Do you man think Isaiah Stewart would get in a fight tonight?
Is he playing? Like, cause he ain't played.
He's been on a bench recently, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been injured.
Oh, he's injured?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. He did, because the last 3 games I've been watching, he hasn't played. He's just been in street clothes. So I don't know.
Oh, so he must be in. That's why ain't no fight broke out.
Trust me.
Nah, they're hilarious, yeah, because when the scuffles are breaking out, tell me why the camera's panning over to him.
Bro, because that's all man does, bro.
I think he's injured though. I don't know if he's gonna make it through this series. If he
does,
he
said he's I saw the update saying listed out. He's got a knee injury, so yeah, that's a shame, man, because he brings that added edge, and you could argue with the Knicks 3-2 up in the series, Brooklyn need to respond. I believe they're at home. They haven't won a home playoff match in how many years?
You said Brooklyn, bro. You said Brooklyn, bro.
Oh, I said Brooklyn. My bad, y'all. My bad. I mean the Knicks. with the Knicks 3-2 up, like the Pistons need to respond on their home floor, get that first win out of the way, and then it's a very interesting series from there. Tied up at 3 apiece, go into 7. Who gets the final edge?
Hey, we're gonna talk about these playoff series in a little bit.
Are you man playing one of them, Roland?
Yeah, we play either Knicks or Pistons. I prefer Knicks.
Yeah, because you beat the shit
out of them. Yeah, because I don't want because like we already just had a physical a series against Orlando, even though we had the better of them, like, and we knew how to like we figured it out. Like them lot, yeah, it's just gonna be long day because Cade's gonna get his, and we're gonna allow him to do that. It's the rest of them you gotta stop because if they start heating up, then it's problems because New York are finding out right now. Whereas with New York,
The center is nice too, and the twin is
trust me,
nice,
bro.
bro.
Like they've got something going on there. There's a few good young teams in this league, man. They need to just tighten a few things up. Players need to go up a few levels, and it's really competitive again. It's going to be nice to see over the next few years. But last regular season award that we have announced, obviously MVP still to come. But rookie of the year, Stephon Castle of the San Antonio Spurs. He beats Jaden Wells of the Memphis Grizzlies and the number one pick from this past draft, Zachary Risachet, the guy down in Atlanta. Honestly, you could actually make a case for all of these guys. Risachet, obviously, somebody that everyone was overlooking a lot, even being the number one pick. People were saying that he shouldn't have gone number one. People were saying that Alex Sarr did some kind of magic to make sure that he didn't get that number one pick because he didn't want to go to Atlanta. And all of that type of stuff, but he actually came on really strong during the year, and he was helping that team on offense. Man, he was shooting the free ball really well down in Atlanta. Jaden Wells came straight into that starting five for Memphis for a good chunk of the season. But I think for him it kind of slowed down towards the end. Then he had the injury towards the end of the season. Luckily, he didn't have anything too serious; just broke his wrist, I think, or something like fractured his wrist. But for me, Stephon Castle definitely deserves it. Like this, if you watch him play this year, and I've watched a lot of games with San Antonio, it's like he's been in the league 7 years, and he's like a vet. The way he plays slows the game down. Like he already had that kind of flawed general kind of mindset, right? Trying to find his teammates, looking for just trying to play the right way, and then he's also mixes up his game so he can score as well. But then obviously having Chris Paul by his side, I'm sure his game is going to elevate even more, right? But you look at what he was able to do, right, in a team where they were punching, right, until they made the trade for De'Aaron Fox, and it was like, oh, they could really get into the playoffs in this scenario. And then Wemby goes down, and ultimately they said, you know what, let's chill. We have a lot of years in terms of this runway, so. Like when you look at what he done this year, for me, well deserved, man. Like because you could even see maybe 4 months into the season, I was like, there's probably no competitor with him because he's just so good. Like he's a really good player. Like I really enjoy watching him play. And I think there's just so much more to come from Stephon Castle. But what do you man think? Rookie of the year, man. You think it was the right choice?
Yeah, 100% well deserved, man. With the San Antonio Spurs, there's a lot to be excited about, bro. And I love the way they're handling things. Once again, continued prayers to Greg Popovich, and hopefully he has a speedy recovery when it comes to his health. We heard some not so promising things a few weeks ago. So continued prayers to him. But I think what they're doing down there in San Antonio is correct. They are using time to their advantage. When it comes to Wembanyama, you get a scary blood clot injury. There's no need to rush things. They've experimented a lot. By the end of this season, even they found out what works, what doesn't work, and they can continue to make moves in order to elevate that team. Stephon Castle, I think, as a player, he has a very good base from his rookie year. A lot of tutelage, like you said, and the Hall of Famer that is Chris Paul. Like that guy, when it's all said and done, is going to go down as an extremely special player, not just for what he was able to do in his prime, but what he's also done at the back end of his career in terms of being able to elevate younger talent. And there's consistency in doing so now. Being able to elevate younger talent, be a tutor to younger talent, and then see them blossom. And not having that ego to say, hey, I'm Chris Paul. I have this body of work. I deserve to be in this position. You step aside. No, you stepping aside and allowing younger talent to blossom. So shout out to him. But yeah, the San Antonio Spurs and Stephon Castle, he'll continue to grow in that guard position. When we look at his shooting, that's that is a little bit of improvement along the way. It'll be interesting to see if he's able to develop in that sense and his defensive tangibles as well. But a really promising season, a really good rookie year, and what I feel like, the class of 2024, not a lot of people were enthusiastic about this recent class. So guys still have to make a name for themselves, and he's one of those guys who you can say most definitely did that.
Yeah, man. Hey, Chino, any thoughts on Stephon Castle, man? Did you catch any games that he played? Have you seen him? Like,
is that a trick question? Are you trying to?
It's a real question, bro. Like, I'm being serious. I'm sure you watched some San Antonio games this year and seen him play, bro.
I did not.
He was good.
Not even one.
Not one.
Listen, bro. Listen. We're playing basketball.
Here's the next question.
Basketball.
You made me laugh.
No, I did not. I did not watch one San Antonio game.
I can't lie.
Wait. Yeah, that was a good pick though. I did like that pick by the Spurs, so I'm not surprised. But personally, I would have gave it to Khalil Ware, bro.
Yeah,
but he finna get traded for Giannis.
There's no Giannis.
Not this.
We're not doing this. Anyway, we're gonna start getting into let's do this, man. Let's do this quickly. Yeah, playoff, right?
Tyler Hero is a body boy, and he dropped 4 points in the elimination game.
Say what you want, but he was in the top 10 for most improved. One first place vote. Come on.
He sucks.
Why did you drop it like that? Why did you drop it like that?
Huh?
No, CM just came in there, yeah. That said that Hero was in the top 10. But most
it's actually in the top 9.
Top 9, bro. The way he dropped it was funny, bro. All right, cool. Before we get into the playoff predictions, yeah, let's talk about some of these playoff series that have now ended, right? The Pacers and the Bucks. Now, this series for me, yeah, I predicted 7 games like it was last year, okay? And the thing that was interesting about it, based on what happened last year, I feel like the Bucks underestimated their opponent very highly, thinking that, last year it was 7, but to be honest with you, the Pacers have improved again this year. 50 wins is nothing to sniff at of a regular season for the one thing, right? And the fact that Dame, I think for me, Dame was rushed back. Either he rushed himself back or somebody said you have to play, because they all of a sudden a couple weeks ago, we had a miraculous recovery, and he's like, yeah, I'm ready to play the series, and it's like, okay, but a blood clot. We've seen when Wembanyama, like you said, he's been out. Like they shut him down. They said no, you don't have to continue. I feel like Dame rushed back for the series, and then ultimately some bad luck. He's now tore his Achilles, and he's going to be out indefinitely. We don't know. He's going to be back next season. It's a shame, but I feel like they really underestimated their opponent, and they got spanked 4-1. And then after that, you see all the antics. Man, Halliburton's father with the t-shirt or the towel with his son's face on it, and he's going up to Giannis saying, "This is what we do." Giannis headbutting, man. Giannis trying to choke out Benedict Mathurin. It was all kicking off, bro. It was all kicking off, and now Halliburton's dad he can't follow the team on road games. He can't go to the home games. It's kind of crazy as well. They banned him from all of that type of stuff. But what did you, man, think of the series, man? Because I watched the games, man. I was like, they were getting. It was really belt to ass, for real. It really was. It was. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Yes. Yeah. You see the Bucks, they're in a strange place as a team. Ever since they made that, it was like the desperate last final move desperate last move on the chessboard to get Damian Lillard, who at that stage when they were going in for him, his body showed signs of breaking down in his final tenure at the final kind of year or so as a Portland Trailblazer. And it's a shame because we don't want to see major injuries like this. Obviously, comes back from the blood clot extremely quickly, like you said. Torn ACL, which at this stage of his career can be extremely detrimental when you think about the way he plays, the explosiveness that he uses, not just in his distance shooting, but also to get past defenders and to get inside the paint, lay up the ball and make plays. So speedy recovery to him. But the Bucks team, they're not good. Kyle Kuzma is one of the guys that we were expecting to rely upon.
Man, in game.
When Kuzma played for the Bucks?
Yes, bro.
Yeah.
When did Kuzma get traded to the Bucks?
Look at this guy. Look at
No,
this guy.
I swear to God, Kuzma played for the Wizards.
Trade deadline. So they gave up a really.
Chris Middleton ain't there, bro.
Chris Middleton is in the Wizards, bro.
What?
Yes, bro. You know they gave up a really good young player in AJ Johnson to the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking to myself, bro, his ceiling is going to be high, and he's going into I know we laugh at them right now, but the situation is going to be good. I'm telling you, they got some good pieces in the draft, and they've got to pick up another one. The thing that is annoying to me about this whole situation is why have they thrown away their future on Dame? This is what they've done. And also,
them need to see people business and leave it alone because them fuck up because them even make the Celtics get a fucking championship out of it. That's what they get.
But then look at this, yeah. I feel like they also hesitated, too much on trying to blow up the thing, right? Where they gave Brook Lopez a contract extension. He's not been the same player since that extension, right? They gave because they didn't want him to walk free to go to Houston or whatever it was 2 years ago, and in the same instance they did the same thing with Chris Middleton. They gave him a contract extension because they didn't want him to walk on a free, right, and walk to another team. Ultimately, we've seen how it's worked out with him. I don't know if he's going to be able to rebuild his career at this point. He might as well just be a vet in a locker room somewhere and just do what he can do as much as he can. And he's in a decent situation in Washington, right, where he'll get chances to play. He'll get to be a vet. And there's good young players there that something could jump. Like it could be a Detroit situation in a couple of years. We don't know, right? But the Bucks basically trading away all of their picks, right? So they've hamstrung themselves, right, for building for the future. They're gonna have to make a big move in the offseason, and them losing this Doc Rivers. All I see him every time is this, bruv. Man put his hands up like this in the air, bruv. Like shocked at every decision that is going against his team. And it's like, bro, make some adjustments, bruv. They're beating you right now. I think he's gone. Justice for AJ Griffin because they should never have moved away from my man, right? And then we gotta talk about Giannis because we've been saying this. If they don't win, he's been saying it. If we don't win a championship, I gotta go
to the Miami Heat. Let's go! Breaking news: the Miami Heat have traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo. and the Milwaukee Bucks are also selling Tinas Bumbo. Listen, I will take Tinas and Bumbo if that means I get Giannis. Yo, send Tinas, bro. Send Tinas to the Lumbo, bro.
Hey, why are you so excited, bro? Look at you, bro. Yo. Look at you. What is wrong with you,
getting Giannis until the Lumbo.
The thing about it is, you do this all the time, and you always end up flat on your face, fam. Because Pat Riley's not looking in that direction at all, bro. Man went to
we don't want stars.
Man went to go get the bootleg Donovan Mitchell, bro. You see them, bro? Bootleg Donovan Mitchell, you know. You saw them.
No. To be honest, bro is nice on defense, though. Let's be honest, bro is low key nice on defense.
Because he's a pest, bro. He's a pest. That's why. He's a pest. I saw him, bro, live, bro, belt to us, bro, in the playoffs against the Cleveland Cavaliers, fam. Let's not even do that, bro.
Yeah, Tyler Hero got belt to his ass, bro. You didn't see me tell that nigga that.
You waited a whole year for that, you know, a whole year.
Because he's a
I
bitch.
respect it. All right, let's move on to
my DM.
No,
bro. You know Joe Budden. You know Joe Budden blocked me on Twitter.
Why?
Because I was trolling that nigga.
Why? What did you say?
I called him a bitch. Remember when he had the beef with Drake and he was chasing that car? I was trolling him on Twitter. You know who else blocked me on Twitter?
Dude.
What's her name? The one that Jimmy fucked in the bubble. Rachel Nichols. Rachel Nichols blocked me on Twitter.
What did you say to her, bro?
Because of the Jimmy.
Hey, we're here now. Talk on your team, bro. I don't have anything to say. You speak on your team, bro, because what I saw was wow. Where are you going? You keep talking about Giannis. Giannis not going there, bro. So what's happening, bro?
Yeah, they're going to Bang Bro Studios.
See how he's gone quiet. No DJ Khaled. We don't even see DJ Khaled at the home games no more. Nobody came. No stars, no celebrities, nothing, bro. They know. No Rick Ross. No Trick Daddy. None of them.
We had the dude that dipped his face in water.
Who's that, bro?
The morning routine guy.
Yo, that's funny. So you've gone from DJ Khaled, another one. We the best. To the guy that did your face in water. Yeah, you're finished, bro. Your franchise over. It's done.
Oh.
We don't even need to talk about it anymore. That's crazy. Nah. Miami, fam. I actually missed the playoff battles, though. I can't lie. I missed them.
Don't worry, it's coming back.
It ain't coming back, bro. Not for a minute. You got all these young teams you got to face off. You got to deal with Pacers and Detroit and even Orlando now. You got to deal with them, man. Like, because them man are ahead of you.
We will be back next season. Giannis and Tunas come to the combo. Come to Miami. And we will turn it around, bro.
Ain't happening, bro. I'm telling you.
We're getting Giannis. All right, bro.
Ain't happening. Like
you're telling me Giannis is gonna leave for a worse situation.
The thing about it is, there's only one place he's probably gonna go. If he's gonna leave and go to the East, he's going to New York, bro. That's where he's going, fam. They will give up whatever they have for him. Like they'll give up like depth, even though it'd be dumb for them to do it, right? But for them to pair him and Cat together, like it might be a situation. Like I see that happening, like because the NBA are gonna try and rig it somehow and get him in a big market because he's been in this small market for all his career. So he's going somewhere big. It's either there or the Lakers. It's one of them two teams.
Oh
like,
boy. I say the Lakers, man.
Where?
That's the last place.
Where?
I need to see another star land.
Where?
But the Lakers, bro. Like because
where Miami are the Lakers?
Nah, it's New York or the Lakers for him. Like that's what.
Come on, bro.
I'm telling you.
Why bro, he's coming to Miami, bro.
He's not going to Miami. You know what you're better off doing, right? You're better off building through the draft as like, because this is the way that Pat Riley set your team up at this point in time. Like, you can't go out there and go and get another star. It's over with now. Jimmy said, "Hey, I gave you all my best years, and you couldn't give me nothing. You couldn't even give me no money. I'm out." Like,
listen, we all know Pat Riley messed up.
so like, yeah, like, but I can see the NBA saying, "Yeah, you gotta go. You're either gonna be in this market or that market. You can't go anywhere else." So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens. You know? Like, TM, talk to me, man. It was easy work against the Memphis Grizzlies, man. Talk to me, bro. I want to hear it.
It was a parliamentary procedure. Nah, you know what? Looking at that Memphis team, it was interesting. I thought about it, but we dealt with this situation very well, and I think getting through that first round relatively unscathed is exactly what this OKC team needed moving forward, because we're looking at this Nuggets Clippers series on the same side of the bracket, and either team that comes out of that series, they're gonna be damaged goods. Not to say that they won't be a challenge to us, but it's gonna be taxing on both of these teams. Denver leaving 3-2 at this point. Can the Clippers tie it up and bring it to 7? Who knows? But OKC will have their days of rest. I also know that if you have to wait too long, sometimes that can work to your disadvantage. But in terms of the series against the Grizzlies, extremely happy. As a side, we remain poised. When you think about the way we played throughout the regular season and the way we blitzed a lot of our opponents throughout the regular season, I think they brought that confidence over to that first round against Memphis, who themselves are a team kind of in a transitional moment right now. Ja Morant is going through his injury issues. Not exactly sure what the future holds for them as a team when you think about Triple J and where and Desmond Bain and so forth, and where they've been in past years. I think there's a lot of thought that needs to go into what the future exactly holds for that Memphis Grizzlies team in the long term, not just for next season, but for the seasons to come. With the seismic shifts we've been seeing in this season alone in the NBA, I think Memphis are one of those teams that needs to start looking at what exactly they are going to do to get back up climb back up that ladder. But yeah, I'm excited for what's to come, because before the playoffs started, I spoke about wanting to embrace those challenges. You know, Grizzlies, cool. I remember at one point I was speaking about potentially them playing the Lakers if the play-in went their way. And it's interesting how the Timberwolves dealt with them. I guess we'll speak about that in a second. But OKC, it's time to be challenged. You're in the second round. You're most definitely going up against one of the best teams next up in the Western Conference in the NBA, in my opinion. So it's time for you to prove that you can start to swim amongst the big fish, the sharks, the dolphins. Not the little piranhas and the things there that are yamming off people's dead skin cells.
Hey, like, just watching it, right? Like, Shea didn't really have to, go nuclear like he's been during the regular season.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen the question mark going into the playoffs was who's going to step up alongside him, and Jalen Williams did that during this series, from what I watched, right? So did Isaiah Hartenstein, right? Who you brought in for the specific purpose of rebound the ball, get out and run, score, right? Chet Holmgren as well, like he hasn't lit it up just yet, but solid across the board. Like the thing about it is that like we kind of knew what was going to happen with this series. We knew OKC were going to run over the Memphis Grizzlies, even with Ja Morant, there, right? Ja Morant came out in the interview, said that, nah, it would have been different if we were there. I don't think so. Just watching what it was. At the end of the day, there's no leadership in that organization. There's some instability, obviously, with the head coach situation. Just literally just changing before the regular season ended. The fact that I think that they're in a situation that a lot of young teams can get into if they don't have the right leadership around them. They can go wayward, right? You got 3 young guys who all believe in their talent, and in order for the team dynamic to work, guys have to make sacrifices in certain places, right? So Ja Morant can't be the lead guy every night. Sometimes it's got to be Desmond Bain. Sometimes it's got to be Triple J. They're very lucky in the fact that they got 3 young players that I would say are like really good. Like you maybe say Ja's like maybe above the other 2, let's say, right? But ultimately, he has to make sacrifices to make sure that his guys get what they get on any given night. And the fact of the matter is, they're all kind of butting heads a lot of the time. And then, and what's happening is that games they're supposed to be winning, they're losing. Series that they're supposed to be winning, they're losing because they can't find that kind of chemistry to be able to sacrifice at the in particular moments so that they can win. And
it's
go on, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's very interesting. Once John was down, those score lines ended up a lot closer. Because we think about game 1, you lose by a historic amount, 50 odd. You blow a 29-point lead in game 2.
See that game 1, yeah, bro. I swear I blinked, yeah, and then it was about 30, 40 points. I was like, huh? Literally, I looked away from the screen for like 2 minutes, bro, and then it just went. I was like, bro, this is mad.
Come on, man.
It is mad.
51 to be exact.
Jesus.
And
you're right,
you blow an all-time lead in game 2 when you think you have commanded the game. So it's like, if you want to make those kind of comments, at least bring a bit of validity to it. And, we have spoken about it in the past, right? Are the Memphis Grizzlies a more well-rounded team without Ja Morant? Now, I'm a really big, huge fan of Ja as a player. I've said it multiple times. But I think there has to be a level of accountability. And like you said, bro, between those 3 guys, is there a buy-in? Is there cohesion within those guys in Bain, in Triple J, and Ja Morant? Is there, remember, even towards the end of the regular season, we spoke about trust. And not even like trust in your face. I'm thinking about, what are these guys thinking about each other? Ja missing all these games through injury, some for other reasons. You know what I mean? Like, there has to be a time that comes, where it's like, Desmond Bain, okay, every time you're down, I have to step up and carry this team. There's got to be a dynamic developing in that Memphis team. And we spoke about it when Taylor Jenkins was dismissed. Like, there is a dynamic and a toxic dynamic forming within that culture in Memphis that I feel like, while it has been addressed to a certain extent, a lot of it remains unaddressed. So it'll be interesting, like I said, to go and walk into this off season and see what this organization is really made of.
They're going to be hitting panic buttons right now because, like, you tried to make a scapegoat of Dylan Brooks, and like, you look at how he's thrived in Houston, right? When the reality is, as I mentioned a couple of shows ago, I was like, he was the enforcer that meant that Ja could stay on his game. Now Ja thinks he's supposed to be the enforcer, and now the dynamic of the team is completely off, and the front office are the reason for that. But it is what it is, man. I'm gonna talk about Celtics Magic real quick before we get into the Lakers chat, and then we'll get into some predictions to wrap the show up for the next few games that still have some game 6s going on tonight. Man, like Chino just dipped out for a second. But Celtics Magic, man, 4-1. Fair. I feel like this. I'll speak about Orlando, very good team. I think Banchero and a good future anyway. Banchero injured for a lot of the season, so that really impacted like how things went. But I think they were super physical with us. They made sure to like limit the 3 ball, so you saw that across the game. We didn't really shoot the 3 ball that well. What else? The Celtics did a good job of matching the physicality in the game. Like, I mean, people were saying that the Celtics were complaining too much. There was a few flagrants that happened through the first 2 games. And we found ways to win in different moments across the board. The game that we lost, it was a pretty bad game, just like loads of turnovers. I think 21 in total, which the Celtics team over the last 2 years, they've made it a point to keep hold of the ball as well as possible. So, you know, when the shots aren't falling and then you're turning the ball over, it's a recipe for disaster, and that's how they lost that game. Paolo Banchero hit some records. I believe he's one of the youngest players in NBA history to hit 25 plus points in consecutive games in the playoffs. So you can see what he does. And the thing about it is I was a bit wary of him because obviously with the injuries, he only played 45 games this year in the regular season. So he was fresh coming into the playoffs. So that was quite interesting. But in that game 5, the Celtics really picked on him on the defensive end, and he was in foul trouble quite early in the third quarter. So we were quite close. They were leading, I think, by maybe 2 at the point that he checks out of the game. By the time he comes back into the game, we have a 20 plus point lead, which really killed them in their momentum. And you know, to close it out in 5, pretty, you know, I'm just happy that everybody came through unscathed. And you know, on to the next round. Hopefully, we take on. I want the Knicks, but I'll take either or the Knicks or the Pistons. But yeah, man, it's what can you say, man? Celtics are doing what they need to do, trying to retain this just championship. It is what it is, man. The Magic, good future. They need a point guard though. Their offense is too stagnant when it gets into the perimeter areas, and then like okay, half court offense, like it's a bit stagnant. They don't know if they need to cut, run, shoot the free ball. Like they just don't know in it. Like, and they get a point guard in there that can really like manage that. They also need a good level of shooting as well. KCP is the only guy on their team that really can shoot the 3 ball like that, or who's expected to. And even he had a really bad shooting performance through the 5 games.
Big up yourself, man. Hey, I gave y'all an hour 20 minutes, bro. Don't even do me dirty, bro. I gotta get in the sauna, bro. Listen, bro.
Bro.
You got Chino, man.
I appreciate you coming through.
You might already know what I have coming up. I don't want to say it on here. You might know why I'm trying to get fit for it. Like, you might already know the move. So yeah. On this shit. But hey, big up everybody. Thank you for coming tuning in. Enjoy the rest of the show. And then shut your bum ass up, bro. Because the Sixers are done, bro. They are finished. And they done paid podcast P how much money, bro. Listen, the next 2 years, Tyrese Maxey will be asking to leave. Big up, everybody.
Yo, big up, bro.
You got Chino, man. Appreciate you.
But yeah, man, I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, bro. Like in terms of Celtics Magic, I don't know if you caught any of the games, if you've seen highlights, I don't know, but like let me know what your thoughts are, bro.
Yeah, you know the Orlando Magic, they're in a similar position they were last year, to be honest, in the playoffs. As a team, there's a lot of awkwardness to their offense, which I feel like works to their disadvantage. You mentioned KCP having a bad series, and there were other guys that tried to take the onus on shooting 3-pointers, but ultimately that's where, you know, their deficiencies will come to show against an exceptional Boston Celtics side who at this point are at the top of their game. They're vying to be back-to-back champions. And, you know, an Orlando team, while you see them as commendable, they weren't going to get in the Celtics' way. So, the Magic do have some decisions to make when it comes to their roster. I feel like there are moves that I think at this point now, with 2 years of playoff experience, you now need to start moving the needle and saying, well, if we are going to improve, if we are going to become a more competitive side in this conference for many, many years to come, in order to facilitate the continued growth of guys like Apollo Banchero and co, then we need to make sure that the squad around them is adequate enough to, you know, allow them to thrive continuously, not just in small spurts. And of course, that with fitness mixed in, and a lot of that is luck based. some of that can be managed with your preparation in the off season, during the season, and so forth. But we hope for their continued fitness and continued improvement, because there does come a time where after a while we stop giving you your praise because you're not growing, you're not developing. And as an organization, I think it's now the responsibility on Orlando to say, hey, we know what we have here. We see and we respect the effort you guys have put in, but there needs to be a shift.
Yeah, for sure. Lakers Timberwolves.
Ooh.
OKC, UFC, Lakers in fire. Bro. I like watching those games, like I believed it, because the biggest thing that jumped out for me in that series was the lack of size the Lakers had. No center. So it means a combination of Dorian Finney-Smith, Vanderbilt, LeBron James is playing the five, man. And it was just like recipe for disaster, because they have size, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yeah. They've got Naz Reid, who he can operate inside and on the perimeter, and you don't know what to do. Rudy Gobert had a big night last night in the closeout game. 27 points, 24 rebounds. Crazy amount of rebounds, right? For a career night. Anthony Edwards taking out another star. Took out KD last year. He takes out LeBron this year. He could even take on Steph if they get through that game 6 tonight against the Houston Rockets. Or I think it's tomorrow night, I believe, against the Houston Rockets. Shout out Julius Randle as well, man.
Yes.
Like he's had a really good playoff so far. Like every game, I think he's touched 20 points in the series. But like the fact that like I believe it was a bit rocky for their offense and like how he was contributing to it. I feel like he's found his place right now. Him and Dante DiVincenzo, to be honest. DiVincenzo coming off the bench, where I feel like he felt he had a bigger role to play in the New York Knicks team, and gets traded away. And I feel like he stepped into his role and he's doing really well in his role. Like, but shout out to Julius Randle. He did really well during the series. And like, to be honest with you, it's just like JJ Redick got out-coached. Chris Finch is a really good coach. Like, he showed it last year, took them to the Western Conference Finals. I have a feeling that they're on a collision course with OKC right now. I have that feeling. A collision course in the Western Conference Finals with OKC. If you look at this team, they step up another level. Shout out Jaden McDaniels as well. Like, we can't forget about him. He has a really big impact defensively. He took on the assignment of Luka Doncic the whole game, every game, 94 feet. He made sure that he was in his pocket. And, hey, they beat them, man. 4-1. Easy work. Like, it's crazy. Like, I was expecting it to go 7 games. Because you're thinking about the talent and all of this type of stuff. It was difficult, but they made easy work of it, to be honest with you. Like, what's your thoughts on it, bro?
Yeah, so first and foremost, it's interesting, right? Because you see when initially the Lakers made the trade to bring in Luka Doncic, I feel like the consensus still felt like they weren't a good enough team and they weren't exactly a threat in the Western Conference. And they obviously went on their run, much like Golden State, where, people started to turn their heads and say, oh, okay, hold on a second. And in the playoffs, they've kind of reverted back to type, which kind of showcases where this roster is in terms of just being able to compete against the team in the Minnesota Timberwolves, who continue to be hungry, want to prove a point yet again in another playoff series against a team. And, we speak about the praises of Anthony Edwards and his ability to live up to the moment and to embrace the moment and to be just careless in that sense, and not in a bad way, in an absolutely unapologetically brilliant way, in the most Ant-Man way possible. You said the Julius Randle praises before I even got a chance, bro, because with everything that's been said, even I said it, like in terms of his playoff lowlights throughout his career. He was very consistent in this series. I think a lot has to be said about the defensive effort of this Lakers team. Very, very poor. And I'm not gonna get into this argument about Nico Harrison. Bun Nico Harrison, bro. I hope he's having a horrible holiday. In fact, I hope he can't sleep at night. That's how peak this is, bro. You don't understand what you've done to the league, but you will find out. But yeah, I mean, Luka Doncic is a part of that, right?
Yeah.
Because multiple possessions we can probably find in this series of players literally finding him barbecue chicken, as Shaq says. They're driving past him with ease. I saw Julius Randle do it. I saw Anthony Edwards do it. I've seen multiple guys on the Timberwolves do that. And I think on the side of Luka Doncic, he needs to be better in that regard. You're an generational offensive talent, but, and there's a big but, you need to be better as a competitor in order, because you can't be having guys driving past you and then you're just standing there acting like what happened, and it always makes me laugh. Like, LeBron, yeah, like when a team scores, he always has that reaction when he outstretches his arm, he's looking around. It makes me laugh. But Luka, he'll literally just stand there, look perplexed for a couple of seconds, and it's like, all right, cool, give me the ball. It's like, in order to win, you need to showcase. You don't have to be one of the best defenders in the league, but please give me effort. Give me something to work with so that we can say, listen, no matter your ability, we cannot fault you on that end of the floor. And as a team-wide thing as well, I think Austin Reeves, we spoke about his praises throughout the season.
They called him the best third option in the league. I was like, that's a wild statement.
It's like, let's calm down. Let's calm down now. Because he was wearing accessories and all that stuff. Man are getting excited, but let's calm down because these performances happen. We saw a glimpse of the Rui Hachimura that we were hoping we would see more on a consistent basis. But the truth is, that's not the Rui Hachimura we will see on a consistent basis. He may have a game. Yeah, he may have a game here and there, but then he'll have a game where JJ Redick's calling a timeout and cussing him out.
Yeah.
Saying this is the NBA playoffs, wake up. So, the Los Angeles Lakers, and a lot of people are saying this, right? They've got their future secured in Luka Doncic. And we will find that out, I guess, in due time.
Yeah.
But what I also found out is we cannot see LeBron James in the same light as we saw him in his prime.
Yep.
Because he's far removed from that now. LeBron James is still a good player, a good NBA player. But we got so used to seeing him, conjuring up these Hercules-type efforts in dragging teams that were mediocre to the promised land. We're speaking about 10 straight NBA Finals appearances, being a part of the Cleveland Cavaliers, Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers winning a championship in 2020. But while we were accustomed to seeing those type of efforts, LeBron James's body started to break down. He started to age. And he isn't quite the player that he once was 5 to 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So we need to start saying, well, if the Lakers want to go anywhere, they need to make sure they build a damn good team so that Luka Doncic and most importantly, LeBron James can withstand the regular season without having to exert maximum energy to keep that team afloat. Because it's clear as day to me that once we got to this stage, LeBron was struggling ever so slightly. He was struggling. And after game one, I kind of said, you know what? LeBron James, usually game ones are a feel-out process. Towards the end, I started to say, you know what? I'm accepting the fact that this isn't the LeBron James that I used to know. And that's fine.
Yeah.
He's 40 years of age.
Yeah, like...
What are you expecting him to do at this point of his career? We've been saying ever since he moved to the Lakers and AD made it, we need somebody else to step up for you now, LeBron. And we're here in 2025. He has Luka now, and still nobody has stepped up for you.
It's not
It's
enough.
not enough.
It's not enough. Like you look at because the thing about it is like the biggest thing that LeBron James has, the two biggest things is obviously his IQ and the physical, the athleticism that he showcased, right? His physical presence, right? That's now beginning to wane because from the physical side, he still has the IQ, but the physical side is gone or near enough gone, right? To the level where you're not going to be able to battle it out week in, week out, day in, day out with all these younger guys, bigger physical guys in the league. And like he does look a bit of a shadow of himself because at this point he's saying to himself like, "Come on, man! I've given my body and everything to this league, to this team, to everything, right? To the game of basketball. The least that Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss and their ownership group can do is construct a team that can allow me to have one more shot at a championship." And like after winning that championship and the way they've just continually changed, he must be sick and tired of it. The only reason why he's still there is because family's obviously settled in Los Angeles. It's probably one of the best places for him to live, like in terms of in the USA, I guess, right? Like, so he's not gonna say much, and he's getting paid $50 million a year. Like, so, like the reality of the situation, I think for me is they have big decisions. Once again, we keep saying this every single year for the Lakers. More big decisions that have to be made in the offseason. I don't trust their ownership group to make those right choices because you've given LeBron James a rookie coach. He's had a decent year. Do you know what his record was like at the end of the regular season when you compare it to Darvin Ham? He won 3 more games. It wasn't that much of a difference, right? Like when they instilled him as the coach, I said, "Oh, okay, it's looking like they're trying to rebuild, retool something." And then they go out the window and they bring in Luka Doncic. That means for me, it means win now. It means win now, but there's also runway, right? Because he's young enough. But Mark Williams, I seen him yesterday tweeting out the picture of the guy in the funeral thing, like, and it's just like he's trolling you because like he didn't get his move there. Was that going to be the right move? I don't know. I don't even know why it was rescinded or whatever for whatever reason. I think it's a very weird situation to be in. Like, and I feel like they're gonna make a big splash in the offseason. This is why I mentioned Giannis. Giannis wants out at the Bucks. Giannis is chasing another title. LeBron James will not say no to having Giannis as part of that team because he knows that Giannis will play every game. Giannis will dominate games. He doesn't have to do too much, right? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what move they make in the offseason because that's the guy they probably go for. Like it looks like it's going that way. Like, honestly. And they'll give up a lot for that. And the Bucks need a future. They need one. Like, they really need a future because they're stuck right now. They don't have any assets. Like, so they have one and it could change the course of their franchise. But who knows? Like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Big up to the Timberwolves, man. They're on a collision course with OKC. I can see it now. That is going to be a Western Conference Finals to watch. I can't lie. It's going to be good because you got Anthony Edwards, you got Shea, you got a young team, got another youngish team with some vets in there. Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. Playoff predictions. We finally here, right? Let's not spend too much time here. There are 3 games that are heading into a game 6. 2 of them tonight and 1 tomorrow. So we'll kick it off. The Knicks and the Pistons, bro. Give me your predictions, and let me know. Like, big up. Let me say big up to SK, man. He said a United A. I'm telling you, man. Europa League. That's our competition, fam. They're saying Giannis and Ja because Memphis have picked and Triple J plus Bing. Yeah, see, that's an interesting one. That's very interesting. There's like we've mentioned, bro, on the show. If you've had a chance to watch it, and if you haven't, like, there's gonna be some big moves happening with Memphis, with the Bucks, the Lakers potentially because of the exits from the playoffs and all of that. But big up yourself, man. But bro, Knicks Pistons, what's your thoughts on that series so far, and what's your prediction?
I've loved that series, the physicality, the competitiveness. how close the games have been in certain scenarios. I'm hoping that the Pistons pick up that home win and tie the series and bring it to 7.
And who do you think is gonna win? Who do you think is gonna win it overall?
It's tough. It's tough, bro. It's tough. I'm gonna say the Knicks will edge it.
Yeah, it's been a good series, man. Like, and it's I think it's been one of the series of the playoffs so far. Like, you know, that game 5, right? Sorry, no, game 4. Sorry, the game 4 was very interesting because towards the end, we were like, okay, the Pistons came back into the game because the game was running away from them. They came back into the game, and then it could have been a game-winning shot from Tim Hardaway Jr. I thought he got fouled.
Yep.
They said no. Then 2 hours later, the ref said we got it wrong, and I'm just like, see, this is why I don't like it.
That 2-minute report.
I don't like it. But anyway, good series so far. Physical, great hoops. I think Pistons come through in 7, man. I think so.
Ooh.
I think they come through in 7. I think they win tonight, and then they go to the Garden, and they're gonna shoot them. They're gonna shoot them at the gym. Like, I can see it happening. And all of this stuff that the Knicks have been talking about, it just falls flat on their face again for another year. I can see it happening. All right, the second game for tonight, the Denver Nuggets against the Clippers, bro. What do you think? What do you think about that series so far? And what's your prediction?
Yeah, that's another series I see going 7. The Denver Nuggets have done an exceptional job. You get a big game out of Jamal Murray. Last time out, 43. We've spoken about his playoff performances in previous years, but I think tonight you need to get the very best out of Kawhi Leonard. We sung his praise early on in the series, but now it's his time to step up once again. We're looking at Kawhi Leonard. We're looking at James Harden, who you look at him, last performance, 3 of 9 shooting from the field, 11 points. That's not good enough for James Harden. So he needs to step up. We need to see a better output from Norman Powell as well, because we think about how we spoke about his regular season and how great he was. We need to see that now in the playoffs on a consistent basis. So there's a lot of improvement to come from the Clippers. And if they don't improve, Denver will close out the series.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray. Sorry, bro. You finish up.
Nah, I was just gonna say, so it's a big night for that Clippers team, and they need to bring it.
Jamal Murray, most 40-point games in the playoffs in Denver Nuggets history is crazy. Because when you think about how he rises his game for the playoffs, you just think to yourself, why don't you just do this across the regular season? You probably in a way better position, but it is what it is. It's been a really good series so far. I've watched Kawhi Leonard dominate in 2 of these games in this series, and I'm like, ooh, like, I'm so glad to see him back to his best, because we didn't know where it was going to end, to be honest, a few seasons ago. Is it going to be enough to see them through this series? I don't know, but all I know is that they get the win tonight at home, and they take it to Game 7 in Denver, and that's going to be a really good series to close it out. But I think in that instance, I think Denver edge it and come through in 7. I think Clippers will win tonight.
I agree.
But yeah, that's a pretty interesting one. And the final one that we'll talk about for tonight, SK saying that Murray won't have 2 back-to-back big games. We don't even know. Honestly, you don't know. It's just that the playoffs have been that crazy. You just never know. He could go on another one tonight, a heater tonight. It's just how he feels the game. If he starts shooting and it starts hitting, he could have another big night. You just never know. Last night, the Rockets were able to extend their life in these playoffs with a win against the Warriors. They play tomorrow night in their Game 6. And it will be in San Francisco. They're at home. What do you think is going to happen, and how do you think the series has gone so far for either of these teams?
Yeah, for me, I think this has been one of the best series in the playoffs as well. I expect Golden State to close it out, but I love what Houston have brought to the game in terms of their competitiveness, the grudges that have developed throughout this series. When we think of the characters and the combustible elements that are involved. Like, we've loved it. We've loved it. I've loved it, man. And I think when we look at the way this series has gone, the Houston Rockets, second seed in the NBA, there may be a bit of disappointment that they're in this position. And if they do end up going out, there may be a sense of disappointment. But at the same time, with the way they've competed against a side that have, champions of their own in abundance, many championships, there can be a sense of pride, a proudness, and a platform to continue their growth. But it's not over. It's not over until it's over. They'll be fighting to tie up the series and then, dramatically tie up the series from the position they were in, and then try to historically get the victory in a potential Game 7 matchup. But as it stands, I do expect Golden State to close it out and to advance for that Minnesota matchup.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I think the series itself, like you said, it's been quite physical. Houston Rockets kind of like showcasing that they're not scared of, a Steph Curry or Draymond Green or Jimmy Butler. And you're seeing the emergence of Amen Thompson coming into his first ever playoffs. Jalen Green up and down. And this is something I think Rockets fans have been very frustrated with him. Like, they want to see consistency in his game. They know his ability, they know his talent, but they need to see consistency, and it's shown in these playoffs, and where he needs to really improve. And that might be their downfall if he doesn't really like show consistency throughout from now to the playoffs. But at the same time, he's young, he's learning, right? Sengun has been really good in this series, and he showcased his talent throughout the games that they've played. He's probably their player of the round, to be honest, out of their team. Where it ends up though, it's hard because that it's closeout time, and this is where Jimmy Butler and Steph could come together, and I think they will do it. I think they will do it tomorrow night. And no knock on the Houston Rockets. It's the first time in a minute that they've been in the playoffs. They do need somebody that's going to kind of elevate their team, and it's looking poised like it's going to be KD potentially in the offseason. But I do think the Warriors close it out in 6, and they head into that series against the Timberwolves, which would be another interesting one, to be honest, to watch. But that's it in regards to predictions. A big up to everybody that's come through to show us some love and support throughout the show. Big up to Chino as well, man. He came back. Hopefully he'll be back a few more times over the next few weeks as we start to close the season out and all of that. Man like CM, once again, thank you for coming through. As always, bro, I appreciate it. I know it's been hectic for you and all of that in regards to life and whatnot, but thank you for coming through. Let the people know where they can find you, of course, as always, bro.
Hey, listen, you can find me at CM22ENT on YouTube, TikTok. That's where I'm mainly at on Twitch. I'm not live a lot these days, so I can't promise anything over there. But yeah, I'm gonna try and start kind of diversifying my football content a little bit and having more natural conversations, potentially doing some more commentary work and live. So look forward to that in the near future. But yeah, man, I'm here, Big Free, every single week, speaking hoops. I'm gonna try and properly look into the playoffs now and watch some of these games over the weekend. I've got a nice long weekend that I can sit down and enjoy now. So I'm going to be looking into some of the games, some of this second round series that will be starting soon as well. So I'll look forward to that. Make sure you're hitting that like button, subscribing to Pros Only Sports if you're new. Hit the notification bell, people, because there'll be people coming from time to time saying, we didn't know you was live. We didn't know you was live. That notification bell is important because it will send a notification to your phones, to your tablets, to your emails to let you know that we are going live. It's the same time every single week. So there's no excuse. But large ups to everybody in the comments, man. Large ups to Roland, Chino. You know what it is, people. We'll be back next week.
Come on. Like he says, man, hit that like button, subscribe button as well if you're new, hit the notification bell. We out, people. Peace.